Welcome into another edition of the Ohio State of Mind podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Chen. On the other side with me is Joshua Keatley. It is Thursday, July 11th, 2024. We are coming to you a day later due to a good reason from Josh. Um, and there hasn't been a lot aside from a couple of recruiting notes. There really hasn't been a lot going on in Buckeye Nation. So we are going to continue on with our Big Ten preview, and then we'll hit up a little bit of NCAA college football because it's coming out here in about a week on the 19th of July. So, and I'm excited for it. I know you're excited for it. I pre-ordered my copy today, so it's coming. It's right around the corner. We are here finally. 11 years, man. 11 years of firing up that old Xbox 360 and getting our fix at NCAA 14. So,
No kidding, brother.
yeah, right. So it's great. But before we get into that, let's continue with our Big Ten preview. And Josh, what team were we on?
Well, dude, I'm a little upset you didn't do your episode 35.
Oh shoot, you're right. Episode 35. You're right. This is the Matt Wilhelm episode. That is I wrote it down and I didn't look at my notes. So that is my fault. We are episode 35, the Matt Wilhelm episode.
Love it, dude. That's a great pick. The Kaiser, as he was also known, pivotal part of the national championship team. We were talking before air. He was a very highly recruited guy from the state of Ohio. We both talked about his the blonde tips that were
frosted
in
tips.
style at the time. The frosted tips.
The late 90s, early 2000s. That's what we did. I never had them. I don't think I ran across Matt a couple times on campus, but I never I never had a class with him or any like interactions. He's a big dude, hard to miss him. You'd see him every once in a while at one of the Jesse Owens rec centers, either north or south. Getting an extra lift in. So you knew that he was putting in the work, which I love to see because in the off season, some guys take it easy. They only do the mandatory stuff. But Matt was there. Matt was working, and it was great to see. And these episode numbers, I'm gonna do my callbacks. To guys that stuck out in my mind. So.
There were a few 35s. We talked about Jim Otis before the show. Jim Otis he has a reputation as being one of the only running backs in Ohio State history to never have a negative rushing carry. He gained a yard, at least a yard, on every single carry in his career. Not a lot of people can say that. Scotty Graham was another number 35. He was the fullback for Robert Smith, I believe, because they both played for the Vikings. I believe Robert Smith pretty much got Scotty Graham the job there. Chris Worley, that was another former pretty highly rated linebacker that was okay. That's kind of the only ones I can remember.
Yeah. I mean, 35 was easy for me. I literally wrote it down like right after the end of the last pod. I was like, 35 is Matt Wilhelm. Done.
Nailed it, dude. I think that's the best one, dude.
Didn't have to make any choices there. I was like, boom, Matt Wilhelm. Easy.
But so back to the Big Ten preview. You kind of caught me off guard. I thought we were going to hit the video game stuff first, but no problem.
We can go there.
No. We left off last week's episode with a heater because we talked about Rutgers and we said this week we were going to talk about North, and we kind of touched on it because we disagreed a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had the over.
Right. I have Northwestern of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I have Northwestern going 75 or 7-5, and you have the over. The total was 4.5. You haven't went up that mark, and I think that this is. I'm going to have some serious cash on this. You disagree?
Yeah. I just think Northwestern had a magical season last year. Obviously, getting rid of Pat Fitzgerald with the hazing allegations and everything. I think the team rallied around that and overperformed significantly. Never very high on the recruiting rankings. I couldn't name you their quarterback right now, just off the top of my head. I do believe they got a transfer in that's going to start but I don't, he wasn't a guy where you're like, man, Northwestern's really upgrading at this position, right? I mean, they'll always have, they'll always be sound, smart. I mean, obviously Northwestern is one of the best academic schools in the Big Ten and in the country. So the guys will be, they're not going to, most of the time they're not going to be jumping off sides and making silly penalties and stuff like that. But I just feel like, they don't have a lot going for them. They're going to be playing in a makeshift stadium, obviously playing Ohio State in Wrigley Field, which, I'm going to be at, which will be a lot of fun. Mixing my favorite baseball team with my favorite college football team, which will be a lot of fun.
We got my good friend Clinton already. Clint's already trying to get to the Will Johnson. I assume this is in reference to the college football 25 ratings. We will get there. Clint, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I've already announced my displeasure with how low Will Johnson was rated in the video game. But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh,
we're sorry, Chris. We're trying.
We try to keep it consistent, but unfortunately, sometimes life happens and we gotta do it a different day. But yes, a little humble brag for me because I get to go to that game. If you look at the market, the aftermarket right now, holy crap! You're looking at this is higher than like prices to go to Ohio Stadium to see that game. I mean, obviously, the Wrigley is, I think it's in the 40s, 40,000 right around there for capacity, which is right around what Northwestern used to be. I think they were like close to like 60, but it's not a huge difference right there. It's a third of it.
No.
But yeah, I mean, tickets are at a premium right now. Playing in a baseball venue is really cool, especially when it's in season. They do the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium, but that's just like, and it's not good teams typically, because that's it's a mid tier kind of bowl game.
ACC Big Ten was like Miami, Rutgers, maybe.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like it's not a sexy bowl game, right? It's really cool to be able to say that you played in Yankee Stadium and played football there, but at the end of the day, it's cool experience, but there's not a lot of eyes on that game.
They're all sexy when you have money on it. But did you want to roll through the? Well, let's roll through the schedule since we disagree.
Let's do it.
We'll do it real quickly. Okay, so the Northwestern opens up the season at home against Miami, Ohio. I have that as an automatic win.
Yep.
Okay. They play Duke at home. New coach, Manny Diaz. I have that as an automatic win. Duke has. How is that possible? You don't even at least have it as a 50-50 game. You have it as an automatic loss.
Yeah, I think Duke is better than Northwestern significant.
We've seen the Manny Diaz experiment before. It's not good.
Yeah, I know. But
and they lose Riley Leonard.
Yeah, I get that. But okay. I still think that across the board, I think Duke's roster is better than North.
Okay, all right. The next week they play Eastern Illinois at home. That's an obvious win, correct?
Easy done.
Okay.
Yep.
The next week they play Washington at Washington. I have that as an obvious loss.
Agreed.
Okay. The next week they play Maryland at Maryland. Now I have this as a 50-50 game, but I do believe that Braun is a better coach than Loxley, so I gave it to Northwestern. But I understand if you have this as an L. Do you have this as an L?
I do have this as an
L. Okay. They play Wisconsin, obvious L. We both agree on that, I assume?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They play Iowa. We both have this as an L, I assume?
Agreed.
Okay. They play – we missed the Indiana game. They play Indiana at home. I got that as an obvious W.
I got that as an L.
Really? Because Indiana, they're also going to be breaking in a new coach and basically a whole new roster.
I understand that, but again, I still think that I think Indiana's coach is better.
My God.
I think that, I just think that.
Well, Indiana's coach is definitely better. Kurt Signetti is God. I just don't know if he can do it immediately.
I feel like those games are the ones that Indiana's going to get up for a little bit more because they know they have an opportunity to win. I think that's why I think they're going to take it.
Interesting. Okay. They play Purdue. I had that as a win for Northwestern.
I also do.
Okay. Ohio State, obvious loss, right?
Well, yep.
Then they play Michigan, obvious loss, correct?
Well, yep.
Okay. And then they play Illinois at home. I have that as a win.
I have that as a loss.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, you are short of 4.
Yeah.
Wow. You don't even have that as a 50-50 game. You have that as an automatic loss, huh?
No. Yeah, I think that the Illini, Brett Bielema's really kind of gotten a better hold of the program. It took him a couple years to get Wisconsin going. I think this is what, year 3 or year 4 that he's been there, and he's produced some pretty good talent, and I think that that'll continue. He's recruited at a higher level than Northwestern, and this obviously it's a rivalry game. They're fighting for Chicago's Big Ten team, although I would probably say that Chicago's team is Notre Dame, but I just feel like this one is just not going to go Northwestern.
I understand. Okay, well, I tell you what, the crowd. Chris has got another comment here. Think about burning out that rainy day fund to go to Man, that's a pretty aggressive place. I've heard from some people that have actually been out there already. The last time Ohio State played out there, what was that? A couple years ago. It's a pretty nasty place, Chris.
15, 16,
make sure you take photos and send it to us.
17. Yeah, I've contemplated going, but
good for you.
I'm probably leaning towards not, just because it's probably going to be fairly expensive to get. I mean, obviously we'd get credentialed to the game, so we wouldn't have to buy a ticket. But plane tickets are expensive. Lodging is going to be expensive. I do have some friends in the area, but I don't think Yeah, I could always couch it, but I'm still thinking about it.
Do we go over the rest of the Big Ten, or do we jump into the college football 25 ratings? Because I feel like that's kind of.
Well, I mean, who else do you think that we should go over? Because I think that have we gone over Nebraska?
Oh! I lost Mike. Oh, there he is.
There I am. Have we gone over Nebraska?
Yeah. So the teams we have not gone over is Washington, Michigan State, Minnesota, Maryland, UCLA, Illinois, Purdue, and Indiana.
Let's go.
Washington.
Let's finish off with the Huskies, and I think then we can move on because I think they're.
We'll go. Let's do Washington. Yeah, let's do Washington this week. I do want to go over Maryland at some point because I got money on Maryland. Their total is at 7.5, and I think that they absolutely blow. I think that Mike Loxley should be on the hot seat. So I got them betting. I got money on that.
I got them. Yeah, I won't spoil it, but I'd take the under.
Okay, so we both agree. So let's go with Washington because I think we do disagree about that. The win total is at 7.5.
Okay.
And you have them going over. I have them going
1, 2,
under.
3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Now this is something.
I got them at 6. No, I got them under.
Oh, Chris is got. No, I do not have 25 preloaded yet.
Me either. I did see, was it yesterday or the day before that? If you get the digital copy, you can load it up and get it ready. But because that loading takes forever. I mean, let's be real here. It takes forever for some games to load. I mean, it's not like the old days where you buy the game, you just drop it in and you go, right? Now it's all this extra digital content that's got to be loaded. And, you're looking at sometimes up to 2 hours for that shit to load. And it's just like, come on. Seriously, this is a brand new game and I still got to wait 2 hours to play. Killing me.
Chris has got a hot take on Maryland side. 8 wins. I guess we will have to go over Maryland because Chris, I gotta disagree with you. We're gonna go over that. We're gonna go over this. I'm sorry, can be an 8-win team. I knocked it out this morning before work. He's already got it down. To see the people are craving.
Yeah.
So let's go over. Yeah. So Washington, I got them at 6 wins. So where do you have Washington at?
I got them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I also have them at 6.
So we both have the under.
Yeah. I got If we don't, let's go through their let's go through their schedule.
Sure. Okay. So they play Weber State. We both have that as a win, correct?
Right.
Okay. Eastern Michigan, both have it as a win, correct?
Right. Oh wait, hold
Eastern
on.
Michigan?
Hold on. Shoot.
For full transparency for the listeners, I'm not betting on Washington. That's too close. If the total's at 7.5 and I have the six games there, that I have that game of error. If there's one game of an error in there, I'm not taking that bet. So this will be one Big Ten team that I will not be touching.
Hold on. Where is this? You know what? I think I was looking because I goofed and wrote UW for both of them. I think I was looking
at Wisconsin.
I think I was looking at Wisconsin.
Yeah, because in our previous episodes, you have really liked Washington.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got him at 10. I got him at 10 and 2.
My God. All right, let's go through this. Weber State, both wins. Eastern Michigan, both wins. Washington State, both wins. Northwestern, both wins. Okay. I have them losing to Rutgers.
Ooh, I do not.
I just think Greg Jones, it's Washington's got to travel all the way across the country to Jersey. Greg Jones is a great coach, right? Not a great, we should say great coach, right?
A good schemer. A good schemer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I do you at least have this as a 50-50 game or do you have this as an automatic W? Because I have it as a 50-50 game.
I have it as automatic W.
All right, we should write that down for our bets.
Yeah.
I have Washington losing to Michigan.
I got them beating Michigan. I think this is a trap game for Michigan. I think I think they're going to feel so overconfident about the fact that they beat them last year that they're going to not play well, and I think Washington's going to upset them.
Really, Clint? I know you're the resident Michigan fan in this group. Did you just drop a troll and leave, or are you still there? What's your thoughts on the Washington Michigan? Here's what I think that Michigan is just more talented. Washington returns 0 starters on offense.
I do not disagree with that. Not at all. Yeah, I just feel like it's a trap. I feel like it's a trap game.
So do you at least have it as a 50-50 game?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Then I have them losing to Iowa. I'm guessing you do not.
I do.
Okay. All right. I have them beating Indiana.
Yep.
I'm guessing you do. Okay.
Yep.
I have them losing to USC. It does not appear you do.
I have them beating USC.
God, I just feel like I feel like Lincoln Riley is a good enough coach to jump on a wounded animal. That's Washington. Do you at least have it as a 50-50 game?
No. I just feel like
really
I feel like the former Pac-12 yeah, right? I think it would be. I feel like the new members of the conference know their teams better than the old members of the conference going up against new members because obviously they played in a conference against them. They know personnel better. And I feel like this one is, not going to go their way. I mean, obviously I might change my mind in the season when I get to see Washington and USC and kind of get a better feel for what they are. But at the current moment, I like the fact that, Washington knows that roster. Washington knows what's going on with USC. And I think they're...
Yeah, but can't you say the same thing about USC?
Yeah, but I feel like Lincoln Riley drops random ass games all the time. And I think this will be one.
All right. And then I got them losing to Penn State.
Agreed.
I'm guessing you do not. You do. Okay.
No, I got them losing to Penn State.
We both have them beating UCLA, I assume?
Yep.
Okay. And then I have them losing to Oregon.
Oh, you have them losing to Oregon.
Do you not have them losing to Oregon?
No, I've got Washington beating Oregon.
At Oregon?
Yeah. I think this one.
God damn, dude. Again, you love Washington.
Again, I think that this one plays into end of the season. Oregon knows that they've locked up either the 1 or the 2 spot in the Big Ten. They're going to ease off a little bit because they know that this game doesn't matter as much. And they're not going to, they might play their starters 2 quarters. And
I don't think that's I think that's a good storyline. I would agree with you, but after looking at everybody else's schedules, I don't think they're going to have that opportunity. Penn State has an easy schedule. Michigan has a relatively easy schedule. Iowa has a relatively easy schedule. So I feel like if you lose, let's say Oregon loses to UCLA, let's say that you lose to Washington, and that's 2 losses on the year. It would not be shocking.
I have Oregon undefeated until then.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, even if they lose one game, though, they could still technically fall out of the Big Ten championship, right? Because you can have an undefeated team, and then you could theoretically have 2 one-loss teams.
They could. But I think the 2 one-loss teams are Ohio State.
Chris is with me, man. You're just so confident. We need to write this one down because we both disagree hard on this one. All right, and then so we got okay. Let's go over this quickly. Michigan State, their win total is 4.5. I like the over. I see 6 wins. I feel like I'm going to bet on this. What do you see?
Let's see.
I could run through the schedule if you'd like me to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me pull it up in my handy dandy notebook where I got them all written down. Slowly but surely. All right, okay. Michigan State. I got them winning against FAU.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. I got Maryland as a 50-50 game. I gave it to Maryland because it's away.
I got MSU in this one.
That's fine. It's a 50-50 game, so I'm not gonna hate on that. Prairie View A&M. It's an obvious win, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Boston College, obvious win, right?
No, I'm taking I'm giving them an L here.
Really? Boston College breaking in the new Bill O'Brien team.
Yeah.
God,
I just think Bill O'Brien schemes really well, and I think he'll scheme very well against Michigan State.
Belisari. Chris, you can always bring up Belisari in this podcast. Okay, yeah. I love we actually that's one of our favorite players to disagree upon. Good, yeah, good. I'm a Steve Belisari fan and also a Greg Belisari fan. So I'm with you.
Man, I was in school with Belisari, and
I know you're not a fan. You've expressed that.
Not really. He should have just played safety. He should never been a quarterback.
We need to bring someone on. We'll work on that. We'll try to bring on like a quarterback expert to break up our argument about Steve Belisari, because I truly believe if Steve Belisari was in an Urban Meyer offense, he would have better stats than JT Barrett.
Whoa!
I truly believe it. I truly believe it.
He'd be a better runner. Was a freak
athletically. He was big. He was bigger. He was faster. And he threw the ball better than JT too.
I don't know about that.
JT, he got so beat up towards the end, dude. He really
when JT was hot. Like, remember Penn State in the 4th quarter when JT just tore him up? It was that comeback from behind win. I think they were down like 10 with 4 minutes left, and JT just went off. He's got it. JT had that it factor. I don't think Belisari ever had that it factor.
I think that. I don't know. It'd be interesting because JT Barrett also had. I mean, the offense was just better, man. Like,
he had NFL wide receivers, Michael Thomas,
and then Tom Herman was the offensive coordinator.
He had Zeke. Like, yeah, I get it.
The offense basically hasn't been the same since Tom Herman's left, too. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that because Win Haskins do 50, but they haven't. I mean, they haven't won a national championship since. So
what happened to Tom Herman too?
Huh?
What happened to Tom Herman?
He's a head coach at Florida Atlantic.
Wow, what a fall, man!
Well, I don't know if that's fair. Let's have a Tom Herman episode. Because I feel like Tom Herman's gonna be a good coach. I feel like he kind of got railroaded. Remember, he transformed Houston overnight, basically.
He did.
And he kind of got railroaded at Texas a little bit. Yeah. Texas is we talked about this in our previous podcast with recruiting and stuff. Texas is one of the schools like Texas A&M where there's not a lot of boosters and not a lot of donations, but it's like 5 super rich people that are breathing down your neck, telling you what to do, that have very little patience. So those places are kind of like a pressure cooker.
Texas schools literally don't need to leave the state to recruit. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's my point. Like, I mean, for instance, I was on a podcast like the Ryan Day. I'm still in the minority when it talks about firing Ryan Day, and that's a guy who's lost to the rival 4 years in a row. At Texas, there's no way. It would never, ever, ever, ever fly because that's just how it works.
Right.
Chris, Mike with some hot takes today. Hot takes and new mansion in the back and going to Rick.
Get out of here.
Living the dream.
Get out of here. That mansion ain't real.
All right, so we both have Michigan State.
Hold on. Let's go. I want to look at Tom Herman's recruiting classes when he was in Texas. So
go for it. Because remember, at Houston, he brought in Ed Oliver, and that was the highest rated recruit in Houston history.
First year in 17, he was 25.
Okay.
Come on, man. 18, he was 3. 19, he was 3. So he recruited at an elite level, but couldn't.
He recruited at an elite level at Houston too. He brought in Ed Oliver.
Nobody's denying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He did less with more. Like imagine if
maybe you're right because he was. I thought he was. He was at Texas for 4 years.
When you get two top 3 classes out of your 40 years, you should be winning ball games. You should be winning ball games.
I'd love to have a back as offensive coordinator, though.
Yeah.
I think you're right because he was at Texas longer than I thought he was. He was at Texas for 4 years. That's long enough where he should have been more successful. So that
he should have been way more successful. Way more successful. And then, post Texas, he was let's see. He went to Houston Houston. I'm sorry. No, he was at Houston for a couple years post. No, I'm sorry. He was a Bears offensive analyst in 21.
Yeah, his next head coaching job was last year at Florida Atlantic.
Right. Took 22 off. He couldn't even hold an offensive analyst position with them.
Well, I don't know if that's fair. I think he was trying to get back ahead.
Yeah, I get that, but why leave an NFL position, even if it is just an analyst position, to not coach at all?
Because Texas is paying $1 million to sit at home. So you just,
I guess, but
I do that all the time. I don't know if that's necessarily.
I guess.
I don't know. Let's. What is Florida Atlantic's win total here?
They were 4-8 last year.
But what's their expected win total for this upcoming season?
I'm not sure.
Here, let's look.
Can't be good. Maybe 4.5, 5. I don't know. I think Tom Herman was better suited as a coordinator, but from everything that I heard, he's kind of an asshole and butted heads with Urban, and that's why kind of was,
They credit him butting heads with Urban as a reason why.
Oh, lost Josh. I think he was saying that the reason why Ohio State's offense was so good is because they butted heads with each other. But Urban had a certain offense that he wanted to run, and obviously Herman didn't want to run that. He wanted to run a little bit something different, which is probably similar to what it was. But yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with your point there, Josh. Before you broke up, about them butting heads and Urban wanting to stay in his offense and Herman wanting to run a little bit something differently. I don't disagree with that. And clearly there was success there for the Buckeyes offense. But
yeah, I mean, who was the offense? I mean, there were obvious issues with how the offense was run after Herman left, right? Yeah. I mean, we have the infamous game against Michigan State where Ed Warner ran the ball, gave Zeke the ball 3 times, right? Or whatever it was. You had the loss to Purdue where Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator in 2018, where Dwayne Haskins had 75 passing attempts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and it's
Rondale Moore went off though.
Right. I understand that, right? The defense did not do their part either, but the offense also he refused to make any changes, right? They threw the ball 75 5 times. And I think Haskins threw 3 interceptions that game. Right, that was probably something where we could have made. There's nothing glaring like that in the Tom Herman era. That was pretty much peak offensive football all the time. But I get your point. We'll reconvene later and talk about like the former Ohio State assistants who have gone on to other jobs and try to pick what
that'd be a good one.
Because I would bet money that Tom Herman's going to turn FAU around. I don't even remember what school we were talking about. Michigan State. We were talking about Michigan State.
Right.
I'm at 6 wins. You're at 4.5 wins. Or what?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm at 6.
Oh, you're at 6. Okay. So we both bet on that. All right. Let's find a team that we disagree on. Minnesota. The win total is at 5.5. I have the under. This is one I would not bet on because I have the wins at 5.
I have the wins at 4. So
okay. So we both agree on that one. So let's move on. Maryland. All right. The win total is set at 7.5. I have 4. I believe you said you had more than that.
I have 5.
Oh, well, so you're still under. There's no point of talking about
I am still under. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to bet on that. UCLA. The win total is at 5.5. I'm at 3 wins. I'm at under.
I don't even think I did them because I think they're going to be crappy.
Okay, so you would take the under then?
I'd probably take the under. I think they're one of the worst. They're one of the worst rosters in all of college football, and I just can't see. I really just, or at least major college football. I just can't see them doing much.
They did lose a lot when they lost J. Michael Sturdivant. That's when I was like, ugh. But they still have some pretty.
They lost Dante. Like if Dante Moore stayed, then I'd be like, all right, they might have a chance, right? But when he transferred to Oregon, that was like kind of the end of it.
I don't think they're one of the least talented though, because I mean there's some speed. There's some good receivers there. There's some decent talent there. But I agree with you. I think they suck. You're talking about all of college football. I think that's kind of harsh. Illinois, their win total is at 5.5. I have the under. I'm looking at 3 wins.
Find them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got them at 7 wins.
Oh wow! Okay,
I like the Illinois. Yeah, let's go over their schedule.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Eastern Illinois at home. We both had that as a win, right?
Yep.
Kansas at home. I had that as a loss.
Agreed.
Okay. Central Michigan at home. I had that as a win.
Yep. Easy.
Okay. At Nebraska, I had that as a loss.
Agreed.
At Penn State, automatic loss.
True.
Purdue, I have as a 50-50 game. I did give them the win because it's at home.
I'm giving them the win as well. I don't think it's a 50-50 game.
That's fair. Michigan loss.
Yep.
Okay. Oregon loss.
Yep.
I have Minnesota as a 50-50 game. I gave it a loss because I do think that PJ Fleck is a pretty good coach. There's some
I went with the dub here.
Okay. That's fair. Michigan State automatic loss.
Ooh, really? I'm winning this one.
So I think that Jonathan Smith is a better coach. I think that, well, I shouldn't say he's better. I think that Jonathan Smith is a good coach. He brought in some interesting talent at Michigan State, and I think about this time in the season, he's going to have him rolling.
That's solid rationale. I can't argue with that. But I just feel like Michigan State, they're going to need a couple of years to be on that talent level again. And I think some of the lower teams in the Big Ten are going to be able to pick at them and get like those random wins. And I think this is the year where the Illini get a random win.
I could see that. All right. And then I have Illinois losing to Rutgers at Rutgers.
Don't have that one. Got Rutgers with the L there. I got the Illini taking the victory.
Wow, I'm not going to go on another Greg Schiano rant, but you know how I feel about him. I also have Illinois losing to Northwestern, but I know we already talked about that. Yep. Western losing that game. Yeah, man, I just think that Braun guy's a legit good coach. I think we're going to look back and be like, that's one of the best coaches in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I might have made the wrong assessment on him, but especially overperforming last year. But again, I think
he definitely overperformed last year. There's no question.
I just don't feel like they can do it again this year. I just don't.
That's fair. I mean, there's not a lot of juice there. Purdue, the win total is at 4.5. I took the under. at 3 wins.
2,
This is a team that I would never bet on. Never.
Holy crap! I'm with 1 win.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't. Well, that sounds like you're more confident than I am. Would you bet on this team? Would you bet on the under?
I'd probably take the under. Yeah, because I mean, look,
Really?
you got right. So like, they're going to open the season up with Indiana State. That should be an easy win. Then they have Notre Dame. Oregon State's probably closer to a 50-50, but I gave them the L there. UW.
Oregon State blows. They're decimated.
Yeah,
they lose their head coach. They lose their entire team. See, that's a that's a 50-50 game to me. That's not. I wouldn't.
But I gave him the L one. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, 50-50 on that one. Who's that? Is it Washington or Wisconsin? Okay, I got an L there. Losing to Illinois, losing to Oregon, losing to Northwestern.
But you don't think Illinois is a 50-50 game?
No. Like I just said, man, I think Illinois is pretty good. I think they're better than everyone's giving them credit for.
What about Indiana? Do you think that's a 50-50 game?
I'd say 50-50, but I gave it to Purdue. Or I'm sorry.
See, I agree with you on Illinois. I agree with you on Illinois beating Purdue. I just have that's the thing. We're saying we both agree that they suck and that they're going to be under. I just don't have enough confidence because some of those L's I put there are too close to call for me, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I mean, it's early. Again, we don't really have a feel for these teams yet. This is just based off of like coaching and the players that we know are returning. We don't know about the strides that they made in the offseason and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, some of this could change when the season starts, but I think Purdue's in for a long ass season.
That's fair. And then, no, I agree they suck. Now I would say they have one of the worst rosters in college football. Indiana win total set at 5.5. I like the under. I got them having 3 wins.
Indiana. Ooh, I got
Kurt Cignetti is a great coach. 4, 5, I think Kurt Cignetti is actually probably the best coach in the Big Ten.
I got them at 7. I have them winning their
first. Shit!
I've been winning their first 6 games.
All right, let's go over this. So they beat. We both agree they beat FIU.
Of course.
We both agree they beat Western Illinois.
Yep.
I have them losing to UCLA. It's at UCLA.
Yeah. No,
disagree. You have them beating UCLA.
Like I said, I think UCLA is one of the worst rosters in college football.
Is it at least a 50-50 game?
No, I think Indiana comes out.
That whole roster, that whole Indiana roster is going to be different. There's going to be a hiccup there early. Charlotte, we both have them winning Charlotte.
Yeah.
I have them losing to Maryland.
I got them winning Maryland.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Maryland, I know I talked shit about them, but I feel like there's a pretty reasonable gap to what Maryland has put on the field recently.
They lost their best quarterback ever. I just don't think that they're going to be able to just.
I believe Boomer Esiason was there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Recent memory. Fine. Recent. Memory.
All right. Do you at least have it as a 50-50 game?
No. I think Indiana takes this one pretty easily.
I have them losing to Northwestern. I assume you do not.
Nope, I do not.
Do you at least have it as a 50-50 game?
No. Again, I think Northwestern played way over their heads last year. I don't think they're very good.
They play over their heads last year. I'm not arguing that. Indiana's breaking everything they're breaking in is new. So we'll and then we both have them losing to Nebraska though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then we both have them losing to Washington.
Yep.
I have them losing to Michigan State.
Agreed.
Okay. I have them losing to Michigan.
Yeah, easy.
I have them losing to Ohio State.
Of course.
And then I have Purdue as a 50-50 game. I gave them an L though.
Oh, I gave them a W.
That's fair.
I think Purdue's in for a long ass season.
Damn, so you had 7 wins there? We should write that one down too. So we disagree pretty big there.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a couple huge disagreements. Indiana, Washington, Northwestern, Rutgers. That was pretty much it, though. Everything else we were kind of on par with, if I remember right. Correct?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yep.
All right, time to move on to the college football 25 talk.
Let's do it.
So the ratings came out, right? So we got you want to I have the Ohio State, the top guys for Ohio State, their ratings. I'm staring at them right now. Do you want to go over them?
Yeah, let's do it. I wrote that article.
All right. So Caleb Downs is a 95, which to your credit, you said when we if you guys want to go back and listen a couple weeks ago, Michael and I sat down and gave our predictions for what we expected the ratings to be. I did not have Caleb Downs in the 90s. I thought, wow, it would be pretty ballsy to have a true sophomore in the 90s. You had them, I think you even said 95 right on the dot.
I think so. He is the highest rated safety in the game.
Congrats. That's
highest rated
wild,
safety in the game. Look, I played this thing so many times. And I just understand. Like, we'll get to another one that I called in a moment too.
So Quinshon Judkins, they gave a 95. I gave him a 92. So we were I think I can't remember what you gave him, but I think we were on the same page there.
Yeah, right around there, 92, right. 93. It was hard for me to, just do English 1 over there. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
There's
between him and Judkins,
not every freshman All-American last year is in the 90s. I can guarantee that. Who was the freshman All-American quarterback?
No, I don't even know. But here's the thing,
we need to look that up.
He was a freshman All-American on Alabama, on a Nick Saban defense, over 100 tackles.
It wasn't a skill argument. It was an argument as to whether or not they would make.
It was an argument for his. It was more of his age, though, right? That was the argument.
Yeah,
right?
because
it was more of his age.
Yeah, because when you're playing the game, that means that guy's going to be a 99 for 2 years in the game.
Well, just one.
No, because he's going to. Okay, I see what you're saying. Still.
Yeah, he's not sticking around for his senior year. Get out of here.
Well, I'm going to use all my points to keep him in my dynasty. So for me, I'm going to have him as a 99 for 2 years. But the next we said Quinshon Judkins. We agreed on
pretty close.
Pretty much.
Pretty close on that.
Yep. Pretty close. Emeka Egbuka they have as a 93.
Right.
I had him. That was actually exactly what I had him at. I had him as a 93. I think you were pretty close too.
Yeah, I think it was right around there in the 90s. Definitely.
Yeah. Travion Henderson, also a 93.
Yep.
I believe I had him at. Let me double check here. I had him as a 92, so pretty damn close, right?
Close. Unfortunately, I didn't write those down. I should have.
I know. I just stumbled upon it before I logged on. Jack Sawyer, they have as a 92.
Yep.
Do you remember what you had Jack Sawyer as?
I think I had him in the high 80s. Maybe 89, 88.
I had him as a 92. I actually had him as a 92, so I hit that right on the fucking nail.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. Donovan Jackson, they gave a 91 to. I gave him a 93, so I think you were also in the 93 era.
Right in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Denzel Burke,
he's the best offensive lineman on that on the team. So makes sense.
Denzel Burke, they gave a 91 to. I was a little shocked by this.
Higher low?
I think that's too low. I had him as a 94.
I agree. I think that's too low. I agree.
Yeah, they had a bunch of guys ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's really good. I'm kind of shocked by that. But
he should be 93, 94.
Yeah, it's very odd. That's an odd one. And Tyler Williams.
I think that was a low.
They made a 91. Yep. I had him as a 90, so that's about right.
It's close. It's right there. Right there.
Well, Mike, you're talking to the guy who would create. But dude, how do you remember that, Chris? Oh, dude, I created Steve Belsari in that game. Good shout out, Chris. Good shout out. He agrees. Burke is easy 92, 93.
Right? Like, I mean, should be, but he's not.
Can we talk about?
Here we are.
But can we talk about who got screwed the most, though?
Who?
I mean, clearly JT should have been in there, right? I mean, what's going on?
Here's the deal with JT. From what I've seen online, it seems as if he did not opt into the game. Therefore, he will not be in the game. This is just rumors. I have not seen anything concrete about it. But the reason why JT was not rated highly, because I mean, him and Sawyer virtually should be close to about the same ranking, right?
Right.
I believe that opted out. I believe so. I mean, I don't know.
You have not verified this, though.
No, I've seen nothing concrete about it, but there are rumors that the reason why he is not on there is due to the fact that he opted out, which would make sense, right?
Dude.
That would make sense, right?
It's the only thing that makes
it would make sense.
Being honest.
Because I also watched today. Who was it? Someone from On3 was got a chance to play the game a little early, and they shared like some of the rankings for some of the players. I saw Will Howard was an 85, which I think is about right. Will Howard, 85.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's about right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's know right there. Let me pull up that tweet because I bookmarked it.
Another player I'm kind of surprised didn't make the list is Sonny Styles. I kind of thought the hype would propel him into the 90s. You were right on that. I think if I remember right back to our podcast, you said that doesn't make any sense because he hasn't barely played.
Yeah.
So I guess you end up being right. I just kind of thought that the hype would carry him.
Right.
You're seeing that with Jeremiah Smith as an 85, or what was he at 85 or 84?
84.
Oh, look, it's got
right 84. Yes, 100%, Chris, 100%. So, Josh and I were talking about this prior to we started the pod, and
we talked about it a couple weeks ago too.
Right. So, and I'm pretty sure I was fairly close on his ranking when we played the game last back in 20. I guess technically the last version because we probably played it much later than that.
2 weeks ago.
So the last version, a lot of the number 1, number 2, number 3 recruits were 82s, 83s, 84s. So it doesn't surprise me at all as the number 1 player in the country for him to have an 84 ranking. It doesn't surprise me. Not one bit. And especially all the hype that's coming out of Columbus and what he's done so far. I mean, earliest black stripe ever, just wowing all of his defensive teammates. It just makes tons of sense for him to be ranked higher than your normal freshman.
Yeah, I believe the original argument, you said 85 and I said 82.
Right.
But yeah, I remember the argument. It seems like a small amount that we were off by, but we were arguing pretty intensely over it because I was like, no, dude, that's 85 is an insane threshold. I mean, that's you just said Will Howard's an 85. That means he's 1 point better than Jeremiah Smith. That blows my mind. Yeah. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Where was Carnell was what was he?
I don't know. What do you think Aaron Nolan is going to be rated? I mean,
Carnell Tate 85.
Carnell Tate's an 85.
85.
That's about right, but it feels weird because Jeremiah Smith.
I would be willing to bet that Julian Sayin will probably be an 81, and Aaron Nolan will be an 78, 79.
Interesting. I probably would have guessed 80.
He's not better. He's not better than he wasn't ranked higher than Sayin.
No, I know he wasn't. I agree with you on Sayin. I think that because you said Sayin would be around 81, 82.
Right. Yeah. Right around in that range.
Yeah,
and
I guess
if Nolan's a little bit worse than him, then you look at 77, 78-ish in that range.
Interesting. When do we find out the rest of the ratings? Is that Chris? Is that why you said Monday? Because Monday they're released.
Yeah, I think they just released like the top players this week. I don't think they went any further than that. I mean, obviously, it was actually Josh Keatley, who was doing all the videos. So I stole a little bit of the rankings from them, but from him. But yeah, no, I just feel like, that's kind of where it's going to be with the quarterbacks. I'm interested to see where they put Devin Brown. I'm also interested to see where they put Keenholz.
Well, he's going to be.
Brown's got to be like an 81, 82, right?
What? No. Brown, if you're saying Howard's an 85, Brown's going to be an 84, right? There can't be that big difference.
You think so?
I mean, technically, it's still a quarterback controversy, right?
Is it, though? They're
I mean,
not
it's
gonna.
not.
They're not gonna.
But
Like they're not gonna bring in a transfer and pay him a lot of NIL money for him to sit in.
no. I agree with you. But I mean, as far as the
game.
well, I mean, you just can't make that. You can't make that.
I think
that's a huge difference.
I think he's a couple notches below. I think he's like if Howard's an 85, I think you're going to see Brown as like an 82, 83.
That's interesting. Now I do have the rest of the Big Ten.
I'm curious. I'm really curious about Kienholz. Like, where's he going to be? Is Nolan going to be ahead of him?
No.
So where do you put him at? He's played one game in college and looked really bad. And let's not fault him because that offensive line looked like shit all game long. But where can you really put him? I mean, he has some game film out there and it was not good. Where would you put him?
I don't know.
Is he higher or lower than Nolan?
Higher.
Okay. So if I'm saying Nolan's is 77, 78, so then where do you put him at then? 79? Because he's not an 80.
He's not?
No. I think Sayan's an 8. Sayan's 80, 81, 82, somewhere in there. I think he's right behind the two starters.
You don't make Kienholz a point higher than Julian Sayin just to no.
Higher, better recruit, better, intangibles. Oh,
what's going? Oh, Chris, I did not know that. So Shane Gillis
I did not.
Notre Dame.
I didn't know that too. Cool. That'll be neat. That'll be fun.
Yeah, for those that are listening, Chris dropped the fun little nugget here. They are playing a celebrity Twitch on, I guess it's all day Saturday and Sunday, featuring LeBron, Shador Sanders, Shane Gillis. So that'll be interesting.
That'll be cool.
I'm sure you're right, Chris. I'm sure
he will. He will.
Chris also agrees with you that Kienholz is not an 80. He can't be.
No.
I guess that's fair.
He's in the high 70s, I think.
Damn. That's interesting. It'll be interesting to monitor how they do the rest of those. Yeah. Did you see the rest of the Big Ten rankings? Will Johnson was in 96. Clint's gone now. Clint came on here, he trolled us and he left. How dare he? How dare he? So there's not even any point.
Where was it? I think the Big Ten. There it is.
I feel like they got it pretty right.
Go over. Let's go over them.
Will Johnson was a 96. We talked about that. I had him as a 98. That's pretty damn close. No Mason Graham was a 95.
Okay, so can we wait? Let's talk back about this whole Will Johnson thing, right?
Yeah.
So as opposed to them picking Will Johnson, who's the highest rated player in the game,
they picked Donovan Edwards.
Why did they end up picking somebody else? So Donovan Edwards.
I don't know.
So Mason Graham, ranked higher. Colson Loveland, ranked higher. It just boggles my mind. I don't get it.
So Chris asked, "Are we anticipating weekly player rating updates?"
I would hope so.
I believe you're right. I believe that was. I don't know if it's going to be weekly or like every 4 weeks, but there is supposed to be a progression system that they are supposed to update those guys.
I would hope
just
so.
just as well as jerseys and stuff like that. So that'll be pretty cool. Right. But yeah, dude, I agree with you. Mason Graham, we both kind of hit on the head. We said right around the 95.
Yep.
They have Jay Higgins as a 94. And I think that's purely because they need to juice up the Iowa defense. I mean, right? Yeah. Like Higgins is a 94 is pretty intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good. He might be the best linebacker in the Big Ten.
Should,
my God.
Right. He should be in the 90s, but that's pretty damn high.
That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. High. Chris has got a. Edwards is like what, the 25th ranked player? He's on the
he's not 25th. He's 49. 49.
Yeah, Chris, it's wild.
Three teammates higher. Colson Loveland was higher than him. It just makes no sense to me. Why do they make it just doesn't make sense. Why would they make Will Johnson the highest rated player in the game and not have him on the cover? Like it just boggles.
Well, I don't like what they did with Travis Hunter either, because Travis Hunter is also. Chris is giving you props here. Travis Hunter is also he's rated a 96 as a wide receiver,
right?
Which means he's higher than guys like Luther Burden and Emeka Egbuka. I think Travis Hunter is
they made Colorado way too good in this game.
I don't have an issue with Shedeur being the best quarterback in the game. I really don't. He's fast. He throws a great deep ball. He's got great feet, yada, yada, yada. I mean, he does all the right things. I don't have an issue with it. I probably would make him the highest rated quarterback. But Travis Hunter being better than Luther Bird and Emeka Egbuka? What? By a pretty large margin, too. Like,
I mean, if he was a 95 DB, like, I'm cool with that. But as a wide receiver, I don't think he's.
I would still disagree. That's insanity. He's a really fun player and he's a good player. But to act like he's better than the reason why he's so cool and fun is because he plays both sides of the ball at an above average rate. But he's not elite at either. He's not elite. If I asked you to pick the best cornerbacks in college football, he's not even in your top 10. If I asked you to pick the top wide receivers in college football, he's not in your top 10. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of wild to me.
Yeah. They really push this Colorado narrative.
Yeah, man. I don't care about the Shedeur thing. I don't really care about.
Yeah, right. They gave him like an unreal awareness, and he took over 70 sacks last year. Like, how do you have that kind of awareness and take that many sacks?
For the listeners, Chris points out that he's wondering how the wear and tear system is going to work on good old Shedeur, and I agree with that. I'm not going to shit on Shedeur. Shedeur can sling it, dude. That's my least pitch.
I'm not. I mean, the only thing that I'm complaining about is his awareness. I don't think it should be that.
I just think that the Travis Hunter shit.
When you take that many sacks, your awareness is not that good.
I think that's fair. I agree with what you're saying. Who else did they have on here for the Big Ten? They made Dylan Gabriel a 92, so you were right about that. I disagree with you. I was like, dude, Dylan Gabriel's not that good, but you were right. They did give him
pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Top
Colson
QB in the Big Ten. Top QB in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I feel like Abdul Carter kind of got screwed a little bit. He's rated as a 91. That guy was an absolute monster.
Yeah. 47th overall.
Yeah. He's a monster, though, right? Like, what's going on? I feel like Kenneth Grant from Michigan also got screwed, but I think he got screwed because they didn't want to have everybody in the Michigan defensive line high. But that dude's also a monster.
Yeah. I don't think Joe Horn made the top 100, right?
No, I don't think he did either.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
I don't think he did.
I guess those are my only pitches as far as the Big Ten goes. As I feel like Abdul Carter and Kenneth Grant kind of got screwed.
I think they put Xavier Nwamka a little bit too low. He's the 97th overall player. I think he's much better than.
I can see the argument for that.
I think he's much better.
I can see the argument for that.
He was absolutely awesome his freshman year. I think he's going to be a household name this year, especially on that defense, because the defense for Iowa. I mean, nobody cares.
Is this true? Chris just put out.
Really?
Chris just put out. They let Phil Steele to the player. Is that true, dude? Is that true?
If that is the case, some of this does make sense then, because.
Hey, I'm a bit. Oh, he's just kidding.
Okay.
Hey, I'm a big fan of Phil Steele, dude. I used to read his magazines.
His preview, his college football preview, magazine is awesome, but I mean he's wrong a lot of the time, so it's hard to say. It really is. It really is. We might have lost Josh there again, but looking over the other top players of the Big Ten, I think they got a lot of them right. I also think that Purdue's Dylan Thieneman is a little bit low. He was the 83rd overall player. I think that's a little bit low for him for some odd reason. I believe that all the safeties that they picked are a little bit low. But you know, honestly, again, he's another freshman that had a really good year. Coming into his sophomore year, I think he's another guy that's going to blow up. That's going to have a huge campaign, and I just feel like that's a little bit low for him. That's a little bit low for him. That's my dog Scarlet in the background. If you could hear her, I mean they did make Sebastian Castro for Iowa, the other safety, pretty high. He's ranked 38th overall in the country. But honestly, like I just feel like they kind of just did a disservice to some of those safeties. I think they're a lot better. I think the Big Ten has some of the best defensive backs across the country. And if you look at some of the rankings, you got a lot of DBs in there. And I just think that they missed on that. But it's still great to see a ton of Big Ten flavor in there. I think the Big Ten is right behind the SEC in terms of talent. It's like 1A, 1B. I'm not surprised that the SEC has a ton of players on there, especially Georgia. Georgia's going to be damn good again. But when you look at it, I think some of these rankings are pretty fair. I think some of them are off, but when you're talking about a guy that's a 90, 91, 92, there's not a huge difference between those players. If we go back to when I was playing the game, my goal was to have 90s across the board. If I had 90s across the board, I knew that my team was probably championship level contender. A 90 is one of the top players in the country in the game, and you got multiple of them, and you're gonna be pretty set. Those games that you actually play are gonna be pretty easy, because the way I typically did it was, I would select my team. I'd play the big games, the ranked games, the ones where also my grade was a little bit lower than the other teams, and I'd go and smoke those other teams. So it's still fun. I'm so happy that the game is back. I don't think I mentioned this earlier. I did mention it to Josh right before the pod started. I went out to GameStop today and made my pre-order, so I'll have the game ready. I didn't get the MVP version. I think that is, getting the game a couple days early really doesn't appeal to me a ton. I do have a 6-month-old little guy, so I'm not gonna have a ton of time to play. But I'll pick it up as often as I can. But I think that the majority of these rankings are pretty fair. I think my biggest qualm was who they picked for the cover. If you're going to have Donovan Edwards as your 49th overall player, it doesn't make sense, especially when you have three of his teammates ranked higher than him. I think Will Johnson would have made more sense. Will Johnson's done it over and over again. Donovan Edwards had a good freshman year, not as great of a sophomore year. And maybe, he's the bell cow now, played Corum's off to the NFL. But I just feel like, they picked the wrong guy. Like I'm cool with them picking Michigan on the cover. They're coming off of a title. It makes a ton of sense. But in all honesty, it really bothered me. I don't think it made sense to do. If that's the case, why not have Donovan Edwards a little bit higher? Looks like we're getting Josh back here in a second. It just bothers me because that's just one of the small, minute details that they miss, and I don't think it's a bad omen to come. I just feel like at the end of the day, they could have made a better choice, and that better choice would have been Johnson. And now Johnson doesn't have the name recognition and all of that, but you can make an argument that Donovan Edwards doesn't have that name recognition either. Although, Will Johnson is a better player. And Josh, hello, welcome back.
Dude, I lost internet here, man. I got to use my phone.
All good. I'm just over here complaining about that Donovan Edwards, Will Johnson. it still bothers me. It really does. And I feel like they made
it's
the wrong
weird.
choice. Yeah, they made the wrong choice. And like I said, you obviously didn't hear me say this, but I don't think it's a bad omen for the game. I just think that they just made the wrong choice. Yeah, that could be it, Chris. That
I agree.
could be it. That definitely could be
Yeah, I
it.
think Chris is right.
That could be it.
Yeah.
Well, why not give some love to the
Yeah.
defense?
But
Why all offense?
that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I think Chris does have a good point, though. They probably didn't want a quarterback, running back, wide receiver combo. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Well, Josh, we've eclipsed that hour mark. Do you got anything else?
No, man. I just feel bad that my internet went out. But
Yeah,
follow me on X at Josh Keatley 16. Definitely give us a like, listen, follow. Definitely check out the College Football Experience podcast. I was on there the other day with Colby Dant, Dick Dundee, talking Ohio State football. I did flub. I said that Carson Hinsman started a few games at center, and he actually started every game but Missouri, and someone ripped me apart. But I think that they were upset because I went on one of my Ryan Day should be fired tangents, and they disagreed. They were also very upset. They were also very upset about my opinions on the Ohio State receiver room. But I think we talked about that a lot, though. I feel like everybody's kind of on the same page. This is not the same Ohio State receiver room.
No,
so I stand by that.
They don't have the top
no.
Like I obviously Agbuka is going to be a first round pick, but they got some younger guys behind him. Tons of talent.
Yeah, we saw it in the spring game.
Tons of talent, not a lot of production.
Yeah, we saw in the spring game. It's a lot of question.
Their top three receivers are aside from Agbuka, so their top four aside from Agbuka haven't really played a lot.
Yep.
They just haven't. So I could see some early season struggles out of that group. I think they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
I didn't even say they were that bad. I was just saying that they're not. It's not the. It's been the strength. I think it's been a clear and obvious strength the last few years, and that's not the case this year.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, they don't have 3-4 first round guys sitting there.
Exactly. They do. But they're all freshmen.
They do, right? Or young true sophomores like
underclassmen. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But it's. I agree with that assessment. I think that it's a great room. It'll be better next year, but I don't think they're as good as the past 4 years.
And we could. Like I said, it was really not a controversial thing I said. The person was just very upset. But like the receiver group, there's a 50-50 chance that we sit here this time next year and rant and rave about how great the wide receiver class, the wide receiver group was. There's a chance we're talking 4 months from now saying, wow, Ohio State's receiver room was the best in the country. I think it's highly unlikely, but you can't say that it is the best wide receiver group in the country. You probably can't even say it's a top 10 wide receiver group in the country just because you haven't seen any production. I have to see somebody play against Big Ten competition for me to have confidence in them.
Sure.
I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just I'm not seeing it. I haven't seen it yet, right?
Yeah. I mean, the talent's for sure. I mean, there's no lack of talent in the room. It's the lack of experience that's glaring. Like Buka's the only one, really. I mean, Tate played a little bit last year. Inez, one catch, 51 yards and a touchdown. And then you got Jeremiah Smith, who could be all world, but we don't know if he's going to have the freshman struggles. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't.
I mean, I
jump in there and dominate, but is that really going to be the case? I mean, would you be happy with 600 yards and like 3 touchdowns?
Well, and I guess I could have quantified or qualified G. Scott Jr. in that list too, but it's not like he was lighting the world on fire either. Although he does have experience. Well, Kaz Merrick does have experience as well. But again, you've expressed your reservations about this.
He's more of a blocker than a pass catcher. In my eyes.
We'll see about that. We're gonna see that tight end room is going to be one of the more fascinating storylines of the season. I think so, because I don't know what they're going to do.
I think so too.
I think G. Scott's going to be the dude, but it's questionable.
It really is. There's talent there, though. They got some talented players, but the question is, will they produce?
Yep.
Will they produce? All right, let's
Yes,
wrap
sir.
it up. Yeah, you can follow me on X at Mike F. Chen. I can't believe I just said X. It is Twitter and will always and forever be Twitter. Make sure
X,
you
baby.
read both.
It's X.
Make sure you read all of our content on Buckeyes Wire as well. We're cranking out on the regular. We got a ton of content out there. Yeah, like, subscribe, and do all those things on our YouTube page. We still need some love of it. So love that.
Yes, yes. And we appreciate 69 of you for sticking with us tonight.
69. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
All of you for listening. Have a good night. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.